Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to the Milai's Things YouTube channel where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. So I am coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko, and you can find me on Instagram as milais.things, and you can find links of everything I talk about down in the description box. And you can also find my measurements down there, if you are interested. So today, it's not really a regular podcast episode, if you can call that way, because actually it's not a podcast because there is a video, but whatever. Because I wanted to share some stuff that's not directly related to knitting, but more like in the general theme of knitting. So I've been wanting to talk about that stuff for a while, but the podcast episodes are long enough, so I decided why not make a separate video for that. So that's what we are going to talk about today. So grab a drink, grab your knitting or any other thing you wish to be doing with some company, and let's get started. The first thing I wanted to share is actually my knitting journal. So this is a Hobonichi Teiko, if you know what that is. This is how it looks like without the cover. This is the one from 2020, and it's just a daily planner. And I can tell you the story behind my relationship with journaling, because it's a bit of a long one, but I will make it short, don't worry. First, I started journaling, like writing down my life when I was really small. I think I was like 7, because I received a journal as a Christmas gift and I just started writing. And ever since I have picked it up on and off for some shorter or longer periods of time. But there is one thing to know about me. I'm not sure this is how you say that in English, but I am what you could call a completionist, I think. Which means when I start to do something, I want to do it completely, until the end, perfectly. Like perfectionist, completionist. And with journaling, that translated as if I started to write down my memories, I wanted to write everything, which is of course impossible, taking way too much time, and then you are writing down stuff that doesn't matter at all, and then even when you read it back, it's just boring. So yeah, that was a little bit complicated over the years, and finally when I realized I had kind of a toxic relationship with journaling, I just stopped, because yeah, it felt better for me. I am now kind of sad I don't have anything written down for the last years, but I prefer not having my memories written down rather than having my present being polluted by the need to write everything, even though it's not really useful. You get what I mean? So I prefer to live in the present. So that's why I kind of stopped journaling. But there was kind of a... I didn't completely stop just one day when I woke up and I decided, oh, it's over now. No, so what I did is I continued to use a journal as a planner, and I just wrote down like little sentences for each day, or to do little drawings, kind of. Also, I didn't need it to have a planner anymore, because when I finished my uni studies and I started working, I just didn't need to plan my life as much as before, so I just also stopped having that need of having a physical journal to write down my planning. So the only thing I continued to do is drawing, because actually before I started knitting or everything, I've been drawing for forever. Since I was a kid, I was always drawing a lot. So I decided to try the challenge of having one drawing a day for a year, because of course I'm a completionist, so if I want to draw a lot, I want to draw every day for a year. So I did that, but it only lasted for 6 months. But this one is the one I did the challenge in it. So I actually have the first... how can I show that? The first 6 months that are completed. And actually at some point in May, this is May, I stopped, and then I picked back up in August, where I did some pretty cool stuff actually, and then I stopped. I can maybe show you some month somewhere, because actually I'm pretty proud of what I did, so that you can see that. And so my whole family knew I had those planners. I used those, and my brother gifted me one for 2023. But I had stopped drawing at the time, and stopped journaling, and stopped everything, so I was like, thanks, but I won't use it. But I didn't told him because but I was just thankful he gifted me something he thought would really be useful for me. So the journal just sat there in the corner for a whole year. Yeah, I just didn't really think about it. And now the other thing to know about me is that, as I said, I'm a perfectionist, and also I'm kind of... I don't like when things are not really kept in the same place. I like to have boxes where everything that has a common theme is. I don't like to have stuff just dispersed. And in the journaling or bullet journal thing, it's the same. And the reason why I could never start a bullet journal as we know it, like you do a list with bullet points and then you check off the bullet points and whatever, and you can have a list, or I don't know, like movies you want to watch, or stuff you want to knit, or recipes you want to cook, or something. But the bullet journal, the way it works, I mean the usual, you can do whatever you want, but the way I understood it, it's like you do a page or a spread with films you want to see, and then you flip the page and do something else, like you plan your next week. But in my head, if I want to have a spread for films I want to see, I want all the pages for films I want to see to be together, because if it is spread out like 2 months after, because I had to plan some weeks before I completed the first page for the films I want to see, then I don't want to have to flip through 20 pages to find the next page of the films I want to see. And same for the actual planning. I want to have all the months of planning after each other and not be cut out by some random list of stuff. So that's why I could never pick up the bullet journal logic either. And I've been wanting to do a bullet journal style thing for knitting for a while, but I couldn't go past this, I don't know, this hate I have of having things not being together as a closed box inside the journal. I don't know. It's just me, maybe, I don't know. But then I realized I have this monthly planner laying around. I have this daily planner, and it's divided in 12 months. So technically, the book in itself is divided in 12 parts. How about I use each part, each month, for one category of stuff? And then if I have blank pages, then so be it. But there are very low chances of me completing a whole month of notes for each category. I hope this is clear. So I decided I could give it a try, because I've been seeing the bullet journal for knitters that I don't know what shop is putting out every year, and I would love it, but it's not exactly what I need, and I have very specific needs, very specific stuff I would like to put in my journal. So I decided to try it out, and I said to myself, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, this is the main motto for the whole bullet journal community. It doesn't have to be perfect. Chill out. So I'm trying my best to chill out. And so what I did, first, as I said, this is the Hobonichi planner, so the planner in itself is just the book, and then I have this cover I bought years ago for the first one I had, and you just put the book inside it, and it has some pockets at the beginning and the end where you can put stuff if you need, and it closes with the thing for the pen. And it has some, don't know how you call that, threads, whatever, to mark the pages. So what I decided to do is to put, as I said, one category for each month. So I put some This is just a sticker I bought when I was in Korea last year. So I put some markers, I have no idea, there. And I just draw on them the category to which it refers, so that I could find myself easily and just open the book when I lay my finger on it. And I can show you the categories I have decided to put inside. So the first one is expenses, like whenever I buy yarn or supplies or whatever, I put that there. And then I have I called it Fix It February because it's actually the month of February, but it's just a Fix It page. So I have, what I'm doing is I have a cover page where I write the title, and then I have just 2 strips of washi tape to make it nice, because I don't have the time to draw anymore, so I just put stickers and whatever I can in there. And I think the name is pretty self-explanatory. Like, it's just stuff I knit and I need to fix, or frog and reknit or whatever, but I have a list for that. And then in March I have the frog category. So I have knit a lot of stuff I never wear and I cannot really fix unless I frog it completely, and then I don't really want to have it anymore. So I have a big list of stuff I want to frog actually. Mostly my first knits, but also just stuff that didn't work, and also a lot of stuff I self-drafted but it didn't work out, or I just not wearing it, or whatever. The next one is knitting plans by patterns, which means I'm just browsing Instagram and Ravelry to find patterns I like, and then I just write them down in this category. So I hope this will work out because I have done subcategories inside the category, and I just hope I won't go over the pages I have assigned for each category. Otherwise I will have them divided and it will bother me. So the first category is the camisoles, because that's what I need the most. Then I have the t-shirts, because I also knit a lot of them, so I just wanted to separate them. I then have the unspun yarns project, and then I have sweaters, then accessories, dresses and skirts, then socks and blankets, and that's it. So that's all the plans, and I just write down the patterns I want to do. Like, for example, for the tee page, the first one is the My Favorite Things Knitwear tee #1, the one with the saddle shoulders. Then I have, I think it's the Tombow tee by Florence Miller, and then I have a Tolsta with better shaping because I don't really like the shaping of the original Tolsta. Knit with and I write down with a pen the yarn I'm planning to use for each one. Then I have the yarn wish list. And can we stop to admire the washi I have here? This is, as you can maybe tell, inspired by the paintings by, I forgot his name, the guy that made the starry skies and the big sunflower, Van Gogh. He's missing an ear. Him. So I actually have a collection of washi tapes that my mother bought for me, all inspired by his work. Maybe, yeah, this one is also in this collection. It's a less known painting, but yeah, it's some cherry flowers. And this one is the starry skies. I didn't even stop to talk about it, but the very famous one. I love it so much. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, so yeah, then I have the yarn wish list. I just write down the yarns I want to try someday. And if I have a pattern ID linked with it, I will just write it down with a pen. Maybe you could say it's kind of the same as the category with the designs I want to do, but for me it's not. It's very different, so I have 2 different categories for that. Then I have the design IDs. It's design IDs I have. So I'm mostly showing you the washi at this point. So for example, the first one is the cable cardigan pour papa. So my parents have or mostly my dad has a cardigan that my grandmother knit for him, but now it's too small, and it's really a beautiful piece. I think I have an old picture somewhere. And yeah, it's like a heirloom piece. It's really beautiful, and I wore it a lot also when I was cold at home. But now my dad is old and he has kind of a bigger belly, so he cannot close the jacket anymore. So I will try to knit something inspired by that piece for my dad, for example. And then I have an Instagram category because sometimes I have ideas for posts or reels or whatever, and I just need somewhere to write them down, but it's empty. So I did a category for that. I also have one for YouTube, which is exactly the same, but for YouTube. I could have put them together in the same category, but I didn't. So, and then I have 1 month that's empty. If during the year I find something to add, I will. Then I have the yarn tracker. So I only put the in yarn and not the out yarn because I have on my phone I have an app where I can keep track of all the works in progress and finished objects I have, and in there the yarn I use is tracked, so I don't need to track it twice. So I only write whatever I buy. And this year I have only bought 2 yarn 2 times. The first one was to complete a sweater. I was missing some yarn. And the second one is unspun yarn I bought to complete the yarn I needed for a blanket, and I'm talking about that in the podcast if you're interested. And that's all. I haven't bought anything more for this year, but it's only been 3 weeks, so calm down. And then I have a month or a category for sewing. And yeah, it's a sewing projects. And then the most interesting one is actually the monthly planning. And this is also a very famous Van Gogh painting. I just like this washi so much. So in this one, actually the whole idea of a knitting journal came half from the knitting bullet journal for knitters and half from Nitty Natty. Nitty Natty, like, it's so difficult to say, Nitty Natty, I think. And she's doing this kind of monthly planning in a double page spread, and it's just super straightforward and easy to use, and I thought I could use that because I actually know in my head how to plan my knitting stuff I want to make. But I just like journaling and I just like having stuff written down. But the difficult point with that is that, as I said, I'm a completionist, so if I write something down, I want it to be done. Like it's much more difficult for me to change routes or change plans if it's written down. But I think it could be a good exercise for me to learn to let go of the stuff that's written, and it's not set in stone and I don't have to do it that way. So I think it will first motivate me to have goals to knit for, and it will also help me just to see more in advance what I can do, because for now it's just a little bit of a mess. I'm just thinking, oh, I want to do that and knit that and also knit this one and maybe I could do a gift, and then I don't realize I just over planning what I can do. So let me show you the January spread. As you can see, it's the same as Nitty Natty is doing. I'm trying out this style first, and if I find I need some modifications, I will do that in the future. So on the beginning of the page, I write down the stuff I want to knit during the month, and then I do a weekly planning where I write down for each week what progress I'm planning to make on each project. So we are now in the week 4, and I am on a good track to complete everything I have, but as you can see, there is already something that got pushed back to the next month, and it's the mittens here. I've written Marit mittens, but actually it's just mittens. I've changed my mind on the pattern I want to make, and it's not going to be the same pattern anymore, but I understand myself, it's okay. So as you can see, I wanted originally to cast them on this week, and I wanted to finish them next week. Yeah, there. But then I realized my current big work in progress, which is the brioche wrap I am doing, which is huge, is taking a little bit more time than I expected because it's bulky and big, and I'm actually losing a lot of time to untangle it and just take it out of the bag and everything. So yeah, it's taking a little bit more than I expected. So all other things are taking also a little bit more time than expected because of this one. So yeah, I just decided to push the mittens to the next month and just be more chill with this one and the other stuff I want to do. So I have already planned the next month. It's a little bit early to do that, but I figured since I am filming I can show you how I do it. It's really the same as Nitinali. So this is the February, and same thing, I wrote here all the patterns I would like to do this month, and then I started dividing them by week. I stopped at week 3 because I'm not sure what I will be able to finish in January yet, because it's not over. So I didn't want it to plan too far, so I have just put some stuff for the beginning, and then I will complete it in 1 or 2 weeks, I guess. And I have a little post-it note there where I have written the patterns I would like to do, but I couldn't put in Dix in the current month or the next month. But I want to do them. But I don't want to write too early in the journal because I don't want to have to take them out if I change plans. So I just write them on the note, and I just take the note out month after month. So that I just remember what I wanted to do. So that's it. And as you can see, I have here, it's not exactly washi tape because it's stickers, but actually I wanted to see because it's so cute. It's actually like almost like washi tapes, but it's stickers. And if I open one, it's like washi, but it's stickers. This one is a koi fish. Maybe you can see one there. And yeah, you just take one sticker out. They are sticked on top of each other so that it forms a band. But it's in the form of a washi tape. And I have this one that is not really flowers or anything, but it's forming, maybe I can show you. It's forming something like this. I really like it. And I also have, so this is the one I used on this page. I can show you there again. It's just like poppy flowers. Super cute. And I also have the lavender flowers there. And yeah, it's just flowers. I like flowers apparently. So I have a lot of them and it's just super cute. And I bought them such a long time ago, back then when I was journaling, so I have no idea where to find them. But I'm pretty sure if you search for like washi stickers, the brand name on this one is, I mean in French it's bande, but I think it's more like band. I don't know. Maybe you can find them on a Google search or something. So that's it, I think. So yeah, that's it for my knitting journal. We will see how it goes during the year, but I will probably show you at the beginning or the end of each month the spread for the next month. Again, like Nitinali. Because actually I love saying that in her podcast, so I figured why not show you mine in my podcast. We will see if I ever get down to it. Maybe next week I will just stop using it altogether and just throw it away or whatever, but yeah. That's it for the journaling. Now I am too warm actually, which makes me think I have completely forgotten to talk to you about what I'm wearing. So, this is just a raglan sweater, really. There is nothing special about it. Which is very fitting because it is actually the No Frills sweater by Petite, which is the only garment I have knitted from her. And it's the only one I will because I do not wish to support this designer anymore. So it's probably the only time you will hear me talk about her at all. So yeah, it's a... I actually never wear this because first I just associate it with this designer that I do not enjoy the work of. So there's that, and also it's in Mohair and it's itchy. That's just that, it's just itchy for me. And it's also my first project in unspun and with Mohair, so with unspun held together with Mohair, but also just unspun yarn at all. This is the first colorway I have bought from Mohair. It's the colorway, doesn't matter, they just drop white unspun every other month, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a single strand of unspun, white unspun with a single strand of Mohair. And yeah, it's just itchy. It's super warm though, and it's lovely to wear, but yeah, the neckline is really... I didn't do a really great job, but yeah, it was my first time using unspun and it was difficult to do the cast on, and I just had... yeah, it just doesn't look good. I think I could maybe sew it down. Actually the thin ribbing looks okay, I think. Which could also help with the fact that it's coming too high because it's just a raglan and it doesn't have a compound shaping, so it's just riding up here, which I hate. So maybe sewing this down could help also. I don't know. Yeah, and also that's when I discovered that my gauge varies a lot, not necessarily with a small circumference, but just because it varies, because I'm a mess. So I knit the first sleeve on small circular, I think it was maybe 3.5 millimeters or 4, and I did the first sleeve, no problem, and then I knit the second one on the same day. It was, I remember it was a heat wave. I was laying on my hammock on the terrace, and I was literally naked. It was so hot, and I was knitting on that, and my hands were sweaty, and my gauge just tightened so bad. Also because I had just finished the whole sleeve, so I was just tired. And my gauge on the first sleeve was like 22 stitches, and on the second one, no, that's not true. On the first one it was 21 stitches, 20 to 21 stitches, and on the second one it was 24 by 10 centimeters, which is wild. So I couldn't fit my arm through the sleeve, it was so annoying, and I had already finished it. So I had to rip the Mohair plus unspun yarn mix. It was a nightmare, as you can guess, and I had to knit it again. And when I knit it again, I used the same needle, the same small circumference needle, on the same circumference obviously because it was the same sleeve, and that time my gauge was 19 stitches. So I went from 24 to 19 stitches with the same needle on the same circumference. But at least from that I learned that I need to be careful with what I do, and not only with the tools I use, but also with just what I do. Because I can, how do you say that? I can control my gauge actually. I can decide if I want to knit tighter or looser. And now I know to what extent I can do it, but at the time I did that, I couldn't. So yeah, I know there are difference in gauges through the same sleeve also, because I've been watching and measuring, so I know it's kind of difficult to see because of the mohair, but I know it's there. And also I completely messed up the Italian bind-off. Maybe you can... No, it's difficult to see, but I missed some stitches and then the motif got offset by one stitch, so it doesn't do the effect of the rolling into nothing thing. So it just looks messy. And yeah, I just don't really like it. So But I still love it, so it's kind of a piece I can wear when I go skiing, and I don't really care for the look because I am wearing a coat anyway, so yeah, there's that. I think that's it. Oh yeah, maybe I should mention the reason I don't like Petite knit is because she's first not size inclusive, and she's kind of tricking people into thinking she's going to be, but she's still not, because she's still choosing to prioritize putting out new patterns that are still not really size inclusive, instead of rewriting the old ones, even though she's saying she's going to do it, but she's not. So for me, she's just a liar. And yeah, I just don't really like her practices at all. So there's that. That's it for what I'm wearing. The next thing I wanted to show you really quickly is my knitting pouch. This is very random, but yeah, when I moved, I had to sort my stuff, and I just found this in a box I had, because last time when I went in Korea you can, probably in most Asian markets, you can buy really cheap stuff, and this is one of the things that you can find a lot of. It's just pouches. In general, you can find, like, for example, I have another one here, and I have those, and I have very small one, and I have bigger ones, and I'm just showing you the stripy style, but actually there are also very cute, like, flowery motifs you can get, like this one actually. And yeah, it's just, you can just buy a lot of pouches there and really cute ones. So I just found this one, and this one is actually designed to be a wallet. So you have a big part here where you can put bigger stuff, and then you have smaller places here where you can put probably cards or something, and then on the back here there is a zipper where you can put money, but in this shape. So yeah, and one thing that's probably not planned but that works really well is actually the seam in the middle here is not in the middle, it's completely offset to one side, which means that one pocket is bigger than the other, which is really good, because actually in the smaller side I can barely put some, I think they are the 5 centimeters, 2.5 inches or 3 inches, 3 inches I guess, needle tip, and on the other side I can put the bigger one, the 4 inches. Really convenient. And here I also have some markers, like stitch markers, and I also probably have needle stoppers, and yeah, I just have random stuff. In there I have a ruler, I have some scissors, I have a pen, and I have this, which is also one of the cute stuff you can buy at a Korean market. And this is a needle holder, I guess. It's so cute. And you can take off this part, and then you have the needle inside. Just so cute. I love it. So yeah, I have some darning needles and pins in there, and I can just keep that here. And yeah, that's just my knitting pouch. I have no idea if you can buy these online. If you ever go to Korea, buy some. But you probably can, I don't know, maybe if you search for Korean wallet pouch or whatever. I have no idea, sorry. But yeah, maybe next time if I go to Korea I can buy like 20 of them and maybe give them out in giveaways or something, I don't know, but yeah, it's just a super cute thing I have as my knitting pouch. Next, I wanted to show you, I forgot to take it down. A long time ago I ordered some yarn from a Woolberry pre-order, and I received it month after, which is, I knew it. And I never opened the box because I have this weird thing where if I don't open what I receive, it's not in my stash yet. Which is dumb, but that's how I work. So I never showed you the yarn actually. But since then I have obviously opened it, and now I can show you. So the yarn is from the Forest Flow collection. It is the colorway Cloud Forest. So I bought a sweater quantity on Suri, which is this. So yeah, it's a blue, like sky blue variegated with grey speckles, or just grey. And I love it. I just love cold tones, and I have never tried suri, and since mohair is itchy for me, I thought maybe suri could work. I have no idea yet. So I wanted to try out suri. But first. So I have bought sweater quantity of suri, and I have also completed it with 2 skeins of the non-superwash fingering base in the same colorway, because I wanted to do a pattern that would hold the suri triple, probably, double or triple, like all suri sweater. I wanted to have something really lightweight. And I was planning on doing another doppio sweater by Sandy Knits. I have knit already one in Nutiden, and I liked it so much, I thought I could do one in this. And do the neckline, cuff and hem in this, hem double. But then I knew I wouldn't use the whole skein, so I would have leftover, but like 60 grams of a skein leftovers is really annoying, so I decided to buy a second one so that I have 1 skein and a half and I can make a summer top with that easily. So that's why I bought 2. But then I realized it's much more blue than I expected. I mean, in the pattern, no, not in the pattern pictures, in the product pictures on the website and on Instagram, I just thought it was more white and with blue variegation and dark grey variegation, but actually it's just blue, plain blue. So I was just envisioning something lighter in my head, so maybe I can only use 2 strands of this one and buy 1 strand of cheaper suri, because this is super expensive. Cheaper suri to hold with it to make the whole color lighter. So I haven't really decided on that yet, so I'm not exactly sure. I think on this one you can see the variegation a bit better. Or maybe not. But there is also another thing, is that again on the preview pictures it was very clear that the non-superwash base had a lot of variegation. You could really see very dark grey patches on the yarn, and it's not there. This is just blue. Like there is hardly no variegation at all, which is really disappointing because I wanted to have a summer garment in a slightly variegated yarn and not in a tonal. So I'm like, I know how it works. I know non-superwash bases tend to be more muted and have less variegation or speckles or whatever. I know how it works, and that's why I'm very careful when I choose my yarns for non-superwash bases, because I know that. And there on the product pictures it was so, I don't know, I just thought it would be the same as the others, or just at least the same as on the product picture, but it's not. The only variegation I could find is here. There is a little bit here. You can see there is a darker spot. And there is a slight bit. I think the lighting is making it pop more, but it's much more subtle in real life. So that's all I could find from the variegation. Yeah. So yeah, I just need to forget the idea I had in my head and just accept that this is different, and then I will be ready to cast on. But not right now. And there is another order I made from them, and I bought a sweater quantity of non-superwash DK yarn in the colorway Shake Your Tail Feathers, and the colorway was perfect actually. It was bleeding like crazy. My hands were completely blue after I knit with it, like every time. But I guess that's life. But the problem I had is that one skein had a cut in it, and I'm guessing it's probably like when you have a plastic bag, when the dyers buy yarn, they buy it in a big plastic bags, and when they open the bag, I'm guessing they cut it, and they probably took a strand of yarn when they cut open the bag, because I remember when I put it on my Swift, there were too many ends that were tied together, there were 2 places where there were 4 strands, because usually there are a few ties that have only 2 strands together because it's just a loop, and then there is 1 place where there are 4 strands because it's the 2 ends of the skein plus the tie. There were just 2 places where there were 4 strands, and I was like, what? And I didn't think much about it, and then I just wound it, and I found the place where it was cut, so I just tied it together. I figured it was probably just, sometimes in the skein you can find a knot, and I just thought, oh, maybe there was a knot and it just wasn't tied. And I didn't think much, but actually I'm sure it's the ripping open package that did the damage, because I had like, I'm not even kidding, 20 to 25 spots where the yarn was partially cut. So the DK is a 4-strand yarn, and I had a quarter of the places where there was only 1 of the strands remaining, and then a few other places where there was 2 strands remaining, and then a few other places where there were 3 strands remaining. So it's just obvious that's what happened, and I'm like, I had to cut that yarn and split splice it so many times, like 20 times, because I didn't want it to have a weak spot where there was only 1 or 2 plies of the yarn holding. So I just cut that and did a split splice, and yeah, it happens, but I would have expected those kind of skeins to be in the, how do you call them, when they do the mystery packs, but yeah, it probably just slipped. They didn't notice it when they were skinning it, so yeah, just bad luck. But I was kind of disappointed in a way, so I'm just yeah, it's one of the most expensive hand-dyed yarn you can find, and I'm like, it's not even perfect. I will continue buying from them, but it's just like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to share for today. It's already quite a lot, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of knit and chat. I wasn't knitting at all, but I hope you were, or that my company while you were doing something else was nice. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I will probably see you again next week in a regular podcast episode. So I am now going to clean out the mess I made and edit this and continue knitting and enjoy my weekend. That's it for me. Happy rest of your day, happy knitting, happy whatever making, and see you next time. Bye!